Hello Internet, Zenjimini here, and welcome back to yet another speed paint. Today we are drawing All Might from My Hero Academia, again, twice in a row, don't worry about that. It was his birthday on June 10th, so I was like, I should draw something for that, and I did this little chibi drawing. I had no idea what I wanted to draw, so I was like, let me just do chibis and a piece of cake. That is my default when it comes to, I don't know what to draw with this character. Let me draw something else. I did two different poses for True Form All Might here. At first I was going to have him like hanging over it, and then that didn't look right, so I was like, no, he's just going to stand to the side. If my voice sounds a little funny, it's because I just woke up about 20 minutes ago, and I was like, yeah, I still need to record this. Let me go do that. So I am currently still waking up. I couldn't decide if I wanted to do True Form All Might or Muscle Form All Might for this, so I was like, yeah, you know what, let's just do both. I like how True Form All Might turned out a little bit better. I don't draw chibis very often, so this was kind of like a practice piece for me, honestly, because my art style is so chibi to begin with. Like, I'm like, I don't know how to make it look any chibier. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like my human chibis look a little more stylistically distinct than my animal chibis, just because, I mean, if you look at Shortcake right now, he already looks quite, like, squished in terms of proportions, because that's just how I draw. But yeah, I was like, let's draw All Might for his birthday. It'll be fun. And I just did, like, a generic lemon cake, because I was like, I don't know what he likes. Something, probably. He doesn't eat a whole lot, probably. I don't know. Headcanons. It's fine. I just wanted something that matched him aesthetically more so than something he would like to eat, because, on God, I don't know. We see him eat, like, maybe 3 times in the anime? I don't know. They didn't really focus on food in this one. I actually still haven't finished My Hero Academia. I've got about 20 episodes left of my rewatch, and then I will actually have finished My Hero Academia. Because I thought I'd finished the manga, and then I was like, no, I've missed a couple of the scenes that happen here. I have no idea. I didn't even know about, like, the spoiler alert, but I didn't even know about the Armored All Might stuff. I was like, wait, when did this happen? Did I just skip this when I read it? I have no idea. Or maybe, like, I don't know. I just don't know how I missed so much. I think I might have, like, thought I finished it and then didn't. I don't know. Either way, you can see me struggling with, like, how do I want to stylize the eyes on these? Because, yeah, usually with my chibis, I draw, like, really big eyes in the same style that I normally do. But All Might's always going to have funny eyes. So, I was like, I don't know what to do yet. But yeah, I still can't believe that my recent All Might obsession came from a Stardew Valley mod. I think I talked about this in my other video, but if not, yeah, it came from a Stardew Valley mod. So that's fun. I was just downloading another of my 300 mods, and I was like, oh, there's an All Might. That looks funny. I'm going to download that. Hint, they got me. They got me so hard that I'm buying all this All Might merch, like, a year after the show's ended. I don't actually know when My Hero ended, because I wasn't really paying attention. I think originally I had stopped keeping up with it right after the Star episodes happened. Not because I was, like, particularly offended by those episodes. I actually quite like Star as a character, but, like, I don't know, I just kind of fell off. It's kind of like how I fell off with Naruto right at the, like, last arc. I don't know why I do this with Shonen. I get all the way to the end, and then I'm like, well, time to move on from that. And it's so funny. I'll watch something for, like, 1,000 episodes. Oh, yeah, we're about to struggle really hard with that circle, by the way. Pay attention when I do the line art of the circle. I'll try and stop and, like... because I fought for my life trying to outline the circle of this. I think I spent more time drawing the cake than I did the characters, which is really funny to me. Because it's not like the cake was... I mean, it's kind of the focal point. It's right in the middle. But, like, it wasn't important. I just kind of, like, spent a lot of time on it. Because I don't draw a lot of I don't draw a lot of objects in general. So I'm always like, what am I doing here? I don't know. But yeah, I decided to do both, like, casual outfits. I think it's coming up here in a second. Hold on. Nope, I'm still struggling on that. Whatever, it's fine. Yeah, I tried to do both casual outfits for this, mostly because I didn't want to draw All Might's costume. I'm not gonna lie, that's like 90% of it. I was like, it's gonna clash so bad with the rest of this. Let me just do his casual. Oh, here's the circle. pathetic. Like, I could not get that circle down for the life of me. It was trying to kill me. Anyway, so yeah, I was like, let's just do casual outfits because I really don't want to have to draw that damn costume. I have to draw that damn costume enough for my animatic, and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to do this anymore. Let me draw him in one of his casual outfits. And I think we see muscle form in a couple of casual outfits, but I just did the one from the first episode because it makes the most sense. Although while I was drawing it, I was like, why are these Peter Griffin's colors? Because they are, and I was like, okay, well, we're just gonna ignore that. I'm not a big fan of a lot of adult cartoon animation, like Family Guy. I just don't like it, but that's just personal preference. I don't like a lot of the same types of jokes that happen in shonen, like My Hero Academia. Like, I don't like the... I think you could delete Mineta, and I think it would improve My Hero Academia by, like, tenfold. Because this is one of those shows where I do like My Hero Academia, obviously. I'm sitting here drawing All Might for, like, an hour and a half, but, like, it could be so much better. If it just deleted a couple of things, and if it just took its time on the ending, I feel. I still haven't finished the ending, so I still can't completely comment, but it just feels like there was so much build-up for something bigger, and then it feels like it all just got rushed at the last second. But I know that's just partially a shonen problem, and partially because the author was just done with this series, and I get it. I mean, wasn't he working on it for like 10 years? I can understand that at least. But yeah, I experimented here with like a thicker outline. You can see me filling in all the characters because I didn't want to do it by hand, but if you try and do a thick outline when there's not a color there, it'll just bleed into the characters. So I was like, let me try a thick outline, and then I didn't like it. Oh, and then I also, like, sometimes when I do my coloring, I accidentally click on the line art, and what happens when you do that, because I have it so I have the coloring, whenever I use the fill bucket, I have it set so it goes outside the lines a little bit, just so that the coloring doesn't look too choppy. But when you do it when you click on your line art, it like goes outside the line art by 1 pixel, and then it makes everything annoying. But you can see me here actually pulling up my references in the reference window of Metabang. I was like, let me grab all these colors, and you can see some of the cakes I referenced as well from Pinterest. I just kind of referenced a bunch of them and then took the elements I liked color-wise from them. And I didn't usually use like the exact color because it doesn't... When you color pick from a real-life photo, it doesn't usually look the same as the color you're trying to grab. I also spent way too long on this lemon that I think is a lemon in the picture. Could have been an orange. I don't know. But I wanted it to have like a gradient effect, so I just kept adding to it. But it wasn't too bad to draw. And then I didn't want it to look like perfectly circular because it looks a little funny. But yeah. Basically, I just did like a bunch of gradient coloration on the cake. I think it turned out alright. The circle's a little off-center, but it's also fruit, and fruits aren't, like, perfectly round anyway, usually. But I think it would have looked a little nicer if I had moved it over to the right a little bit. I don't know. And what you can see sometimes, I get asked this a couple of times when I'm doing gradients especially, but I do it when I do shading as well. When you see me blur the colors... because I don't actually use the blur tool in my art, like, at all, but I use it to color pick the right color in between colors sometimes. So, like, say I'm going from a yellow to an orangish color, it's kind of hard to just go to the color gradient and get the right in-between of those. So sometimes I'll just blur it and then I'll color pick whatever's in the middle. Sometimes you have to do that a couple of times to get the right color for blending, but that's what that is. If you've ever seen that and wondered like, what is it doing? Blurring, because he doesn't actually use a blur tool. That is what that is. It's me getting a color in between. I was gonna debate. I kind of like colored over the lines of All Might here a couple of times because I was like, I don't know if I want to do colored lines for this, because sometimes I'll do, in these kind of stylistic drawings, I'll do a colored line on the inside lines, anything that's touching the inside, and then I'll do a black outline on the edge. And I was going to do that for the whole piece, but it didn't look right. So I was like, yeah, let's just do the cake. And I think it turned out okay. And here you can see me, I was gonna color pick the shading directly from the pictures of All Might. And then I was like, no, it's too dark for this. Because they use some really, really dark coloration when they shade him usually, which is fine. It definitely looks good in the show, but like with the really light colors I used here, it looked kind of funny. Yeah, you can see me doing the blur thing again for the hair, because I did like an orangish color for the shading of the hair. I usually do use orange when I shade yellow. It just depends on the lighting, but in general lighting like this, where like it doesn't have specific lighting because they're not in an environment, I usually will use orange because it kind of makes the yellow pop out a little more. I don't know, it's just like my favorite color to shade yellow with. You can also just use yellow, but like it just depends on what you're going for. If you use blue or bluish, it just kind of makes it look green because color theory, but it depends on what you're going for. And you can even do like green. Like, it's all stylistic choice. Like what colors you use to shade with. Like I see a lot of people say don't shade with black, but All Might looks cool because he shaded with black and other colors, of course. But like, he's like, it's like comic book style. It really just depends on what you're going for. I hate seeing those drawing tutorials that are like, do this, not that. And I'm like, yeah, generally speaking, you're not incorrect, but there's always a case for something. Like, people that shade with black have seen it before, you know, it's not like it's random. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on those do this, not that drawing tutorials. They make me mad. Yeah, I was debating what color I wanted that spoon to be, because silver felt like it kind of stood out a little too much, but gold looked funny. So I was like, no, let's just do silver. And I put those little shines in muscle form All Might's eyes, and then I was like, he looks like an alien. Let me delete those. So I made them a lot bigger. Yeah, I'm never sure how I want to shade his eyes. I still haven't like figured out my drawing style when it comes to All Might. I will eventually, because I've been drawing this guy a lot. I probably should have figured that out before I started an animatic, where he's one of the 2 main characters in it. But, you know, and here I'm just doing like really little subtle edits to things, like lines that poked out or little bits of shading. Like, I did these lines and then I think I deleted them because I didn't like the way it looked. I was like, no, I don't really need him shaded over the cake. I'm not going for realism with this. He's floating in the void. There's no real background here. But yeah, as you can see, I'm just fixing some line art here and there and adding shading where I forgot to add shading. It's just not usually something I bother with, but when it's like a really specific fan art piece, or when it's a commission for somebody else, I'm a little more particular. And I'm going to go ahead and pause the video there, because that is about where the drawing ends. There was like 1 or 2 more tweaks I did, but I think I just stopped the recording because it was like little stuff that's obnoxious to watch on a speed paint. Like, yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day. Goodbye.